Hello, everybody. This your girl Sharice from B-More. How y'all feeling today? I just came to y'all to share with you guys another YouTube video. And in this video, it's going to be all about framing. Yes, framing. I'm giving you guys the formula for framing. This is going to be a great video because what I did was got some clips from other videos that I felt like, you know what, could be valuable and could give y'all the total breakdown. And again, I want you guys to really get familiar with what procedures and formulas that y'all got to go through when y'all doing this new renovation projects. Because again, these contractors that's out here, it could do right by you and they can also do wrong by you. And in the process of framing, this is where your bones are in your property, right? You want your bones to be strong. You don't want nobody to come in and frame something and then somebody falls to the floor. The wind blows heavy and it blows the door in or blows the window out. You want everything to be strong, structurally strong, sound. And at the end of the day, this video right here is going to show y'all everything you guys need to know in reference to framing. And I hope you guys enjoy this video. And if y'all do, please click the like button. Just click it. Share this with a friend. You can do it. Just share it. Even subscribe to my channel. I would definitely appreciate it because I just want to bring you guys the gems. Give y'all the information that you guys need. I know that I can't walk with you guys hand on hand, holding your hand, but I am trying my best to walk with you slowly so that you can get everything you need in this process. Because again, I want us to
The
win.
next phase, which is framing. And what I'm doing is I'm taking y'all to a location where framing is done. A lot of framing. Let me show y'all. Right? They putting up the sheeting on the outside now. That's water protector. That's to keep the water from the rain. And when it rains, it actually is a repellent. The water bounces off of it. But as you can see, this is what your framing will look like. They have windows, window. This is a window. This is a door. As you can see, same thing that's going on here. Now I'm going to take you inside and I'm going to show y'all inside, okay? So what your framer is supposed to do is show y'all, is install a header, right? And a footer for the door, right? This is, and he used, this is a 2x6. Yeah, it's a 2x6. 2x6. It's not a 2x4, it's smaller. This is a 2x4. This is a 2x6. See the wideness, the width? That's how you know you got two different measurements. 2 inches apart. 6. Okay, let me take you inside. Now, so what you guys see is everything is framed 16 on center. See? 16 on center. And your joists, they are all placed into a slot. That's to keep you from having to buy, place it joist hangers. Use joist hangers. It might be inside of your exterior wall, maybe 4 inches. And then you have your top plate that actually helps hold up your framing. Always wrong timing. Anyway, this your girl. See, remember me telling you don't have to tear out your exterior wall because that's the plaster wall. You don't have to tear that out because, again, that's to help you with installation. So some people, they tear it all out if they want that brick look, or sometimes you had a fire, things like that. You might have to tear all of that out because of the soot that be on top of it is hazardous for people to breathe. But right now, this is not that type of situation. So, you know, me just giving you a scenario. But when your framing is done this way and all of your joists are placed in the slot like they're supposed to be, it'll help you with passing your building permit. I mean, your building inspection, because you're going to have an inspector that's going to come and he's going to come and look at the work. And as long as everything is up to code, then you'll pass your permit, right? That's the main thing you want to do, is be able to pass and make things stable. Now, remember me telling you about joist hangers. In some locations, they have hangers. See? That's considered a hanger. And the reason why they added that hanger is because, of course, it's short distance. It's short distance, and you don't have it inserted into your concrete, right? Remember me telling you about your exterior wall. You don't have it inserted into your exterior wall, so you have to use something to hold it up, to give it stability. So basically, that's what's giving it stability. And they created a double plate. See? A double plate to give it extra strength, so that way it can be more stable. And this is the way a LVL beam would look. But besides, it would have a piece of plywood in the middle. And it has two posts that will come straight down. Come straight down, go straight up, go straight down to the floor. And that's to give your the location on where you may be adding, opening up an area, giving it some strength, giving it stability, giving it I'm trying to correct the words. Need to give y'all the correct words, but I'm going to give y'all all the specifics in another video, but as I add this one to it. So just give me some time so that I can, you know, edit this and show y'all exactly what y'all need to. But for the most part, that's the way your joists is supposed to be, right? They need to be inserted into your exterior wall to have stability. If not, you got to use joist hangers, right? And also, your frame is supposed to have a header and a footer, and each corner area is supposed to have corners. And this is the way a corner is supposed to look like, right? And it's faced that way so that drywall can be attached to it, and it can go from one direction to the next direction. The drywall can butt here and come out this way, right? And then it butts onto here, and then it'll go this way. So it's a lot of formulas to why things are the way that they are. But the reason why, you know, you do 16 on center for your framing is because you got to have your installation that you're going to insert. You're going to have wiring you're going to insert. And you're also going to have plumbing that you're going to insert. All of those things are behind the walls that's not seen. So just note, keep that in mind. Okay, is when your framer does your framing, is this 16 on center? Sometimes it could be 24 inches on center, right? It all depends on what it is. And I'll go more into detail on that on another video. But this is just your girl, Sharice, trying to give y'all the gems on what y'all can do when y'all get framing. And again, when y'all doing dumpsters. And you don't want to have a bunch of dumpsters. So tearing out all this wall, everything in the house, sometimes you just don't have to do that. So this is just me trying to save y'all some money and also give y'all the gems on what you can do and what things supposed to look like. Okay. So I'm hoping that this video is helpful, and I'm hoping that I'm giving y'all a lot of good information, because that's what I'm here for. You know, I'm here to help you guys with anything that y'all might need. So if y'all got questions, right, send your questions to me. Comment so that I can answer some of your questions, right? If y'all have any concern, hey, tap on to my comments, and I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? I'll give y'all the gems on what you need to know, and I'll try my best to be as helpful as I can. And all I ask for you to do is just click the like button, share this information with a friend, you know, or subscribe to my channel, and I'll be it. And hopefully that this information is very informative to you guys. Okay.
So I'm hoping that y'all liking this video so far. Now I'm getting ready to add the clip because this guy right here, he's going to really break it down for y'all, give y'all the terminology that you guys need, show y'all more into details about what goes where and why it goes where and what type of wood is what. These are the things you guys need to know. So this your girl right here. Follow along.
So everyone knows what framing is. It's the assembled lumber that gives support and shape to a house. They look at a partially built house, see that tangle of wood, and say, yeah, that's the framing. But most people's knowledge of framing stops right there. They couldn't name many of the individual components that they're seeing or tell you what those pieces are for. I've always believed that this puts them at a disadvantage in contracting situations. Pretty much every remodel and new build is going to require new framing. And extensive repairs are also going to involve framing as you deal with issues like rot and decay. In these situations, you want to be able to understand what your contractor is telling you, and the first step is understanding terminology. So in this video, I'm going to quickly run you through what all those individual framing members in a house are called. We're going to work our way from the bottom up, going from the foundation to the roof. And along the way, I'll even explain a bit about what these members do. And that's coming up next on The Honest Carpenter.
Hey everybody. So, how y'all liking this video so far? I searched high and low to find the best video that I could give you guys to give y'all the best information. And this guy, he's a general contractor and he knows a lot about the construction field. And right now, he's getting ready to give y'all all the information that you need to know about framing. The only difference is that he's doing new construction versus what we do in residential homes pre-existing construction, right? So I want you guys to pay close attention and try your best to understand. If you can't, just rewind the video, play it again. You know, it's always here for you guys, and like I am, I'm always here to kind of help you guys with the understanding terminology. I can't, the words that he used versus the words that I use are totally different. Again, because he's been in this field for years, and I'm a new investor, and I'm just trying to help new investors. Now, if you want professional help, you got to seek professional. I'm just a new investor, just trying to give you all the information that I have. All right, so let's go back to the video.
What these members do. And that's coming up next on The Honest Carpenter Show. Okay, let's get down to foundation level. Before framers show up, masons have either built up brick and block walls or poured concrete foundations. In either case, they give us a level base to build off of. In most houses, the first framing member we install is the mud sill or just the sill. This little known piece provides a stable layer for all the framing above it to rest on. If untreated wood sits on masonry, it can rot because masonry always has a moisture content. So the mud sill is made of treated lumber that isn't prone to rot. So it acts as a buffer between damp masonry and all the dry framing above it. The mud sill runs the entire perimeter of the foundation and is almost always tied down with anchor bolts, which prevent the house from lifting up when strong winds blow. The next layer of framing is typically the joists. Joists create the floor structure of a house. They're long pieces of lumber turned on their edge, which are then supported at various points from below. Joists span open space, acting as sort of a bridge across long distances. They give us something to walk on in the form of floors and something to hold weight above our heads in the form of ceilings. Joists used to be just dimensional lumber, like wide, flat pieces of solid wood. But in recent years, engineered lumber has partially replaced them. I-joists are modified I-beams built out of long pieces of strand board and solid lumber caps or flanges. I-joists are cheap, stable, and very versatile. And they often contain pre-cut knockouts that you can run utilities through, like ducts and wiring. This makes later construction phases both easier and cheaper. You still see a lot of dimensional lumber on job sites, especially in outdoor structures like decks. The outermost joist in a floor or deck is often called the rim joist or the band, depending on application. Other joists pair up with it or run into it. Sometimes joists are even supported by another horizontal framing member called girders or beams. Beams tend to be bigger, stronger pieces of lumber that act as a spine for joists to sit on. They're sort of like super joists for other framing members. Sometimes joists even run straight into them and are held on with hardware. Girders and beams are sometimes made of dimensional lumber grouped together. Or more commonly, they're made from LVLs, laminated veneer lumber, a type of engineered plywood that is very strong and comes in really long pieces so that they can bridge longer spans. Now, girders and beams also need something to sit on for support. Sometimes they rest on masonry piers, like in a foundation. Other times, they rest on columns or posts. These words, column, post, are sort of catch-all terms for a vertical support. Sometimes they're made of hollow steel, like this one I installed beneath an overspan girder in a garage. Other times they're made of wood, like the very common porch post. I installed these 6x6s beneath an under-supported deck. And on porches, you'll see wrapped columns holding up the beams that support the roof and ceiling. Sometimes these columns are very decorative, but they're still structural. But altogether, columns and posts transfer loads from a beam or girder down to somewhere lower in the foundation or another support. Alright, so with all that structure in place, we can move up from the lowest parts of the house. After the joists have created the floor structure, they get covered with subfloor. Subfloor is sheets of plywood or strand board with tongue and groove edges. Pieces sort of interlock to create a stable surface on top of the joists, and this covers the full perimeter of the floor plan, right out to the edge of the structure. Everything above this point sits on the subfloor, and that includes the walls themselves. As everyone knows, framed walls are built with studs. This word is, of course, an endless source of amusement. But stud is really just a blanket term for pieces of lumber stood up on their ends to create the vertical structure of our homes. They're most often in the 2x4 or 2x6 dimensions. Studs can stand individually, spaced out either 16 or 24 inches center to center, or they can be fastened together in groups known as stud packs. These packs sort of act as makeshift columns in our walls. They carry heavy point loads from somewhere above and transfer that weight down to a safe point below. But studs never actually touch the subfloor. Instead, they sit on another horizontal piece of wood known as a plate. A plate is basically just a stud laid down on its back. It's virtually identical to a mud sill, except that it's not treated because it's not in contact with wet masonry. This is just kiln-dried 2x4 or 2x6. So you have a bottom plate beneath the wall, and you have top plates at the top of the wall. Top plates are typically doubled up for strength. We call them double plates. Adding top and bottom plates to vertical studs lets us build our walls laying down and then stand them up into place. It turns the whole wall into a rigid unit that acts as one piece. Studs and plates are virtually continuous in a wall, except where they're interrupted by doors and windows. These openings get special framing, and that framing has a complex system of names and functions. For instance, you've probably seen these pieces of solid wood facing outward above an opening. These pieces are called headers, and they're very important. Doors and windows create hollow space in a wall, which means that studs aren't there to support weight from above. So the headers transfer the weight that would be in that space out to the edges of the opening. Really, they act the same way that a beam or girder does to carry weight over a span. They're like a bridge that creates a safe hollow space for the door or window to sit inside. Sometimes headers are also made up of LVLs over longer spans, like garage doors where they need to bear more weight. The ends of the header sit on pieces called trimmer studs or jack studs. Then they're enclosed by taller pieces called king studs, which extend all the way up to the plate. Empty spaces above a door or below a window are then filled with what are known as cripple studs. Just little short pieces that provide support and create nailing surface for drywall and cladding. The bottom horizontal piece in the window opening is called a rough sill, and the entire framed opening of a door or window is known as the rough opening. Again, all this structure bears the weight around these openings so that doors and windows don't have to. There should essentially never be any weight on a door or window. They just sit in a hollow opening and do their job. You'll also see little horizontal sections of wood in framed walls. These pieces are known as blocking, or in some countries, nogging. Blocking serves many different purposes. In tall walls, it prevents studs from bowing or twisting. In some cases, it provides a fire block, which prevents fire from traveling up the stud bay like a flue. This slows the fire down so it can't leap between floors. And in places like bathrooms and kitchens, blocking is installed turned up on its edge. This provides solid wood to mount towel racks, cabinets, and other fixtures to. You really see various types of blocking all throughout a house. That covers much of what you'll see in a single bottom floor. So, moving up, we come to staircases. Stairs used to be built entirely from notched lumber known as stringers. In some cases, especially outdoors, they still are built this way. But many modern interior staircases are built in factories as single enclosed units. These units are ordered beforehand based on accurate measurements and pretty much just get installed like a ramp. The vertical pieces of staircases are called risers, and the horizontal pieces are called treads. They may be attached to frame walls at either side for extra support, or rest on smaller frame knee walls beneath them. Knee walls are just short wall sections, typically under 3 feet. Sometimes they support something, other times they're freestanding. I'll mention here that the word header is also used to describe a piece of framing that opens up a hole in a floor or ceiling. Just like a small girder, a ceiling header carries the weight of several joists by transferring their load out to other parallel joists. This lets you create openings for pull-down attic stairs, dormers, staircases, you name it. So that's a second definition for headers, and it serves a slightly different function. These headers are installed in horizontal floors as opposed to vertical walls. Okay, continuing upward. Higher floors in a house are built much like the first floor. Joists sit on the top plate of the wall below. Subfloor covers those joists, and the next frame wall sits directly on that subfloor. It's pretty much exactly the same floor to floor. Taller houses may require more beefed up framing, especially on the bottom floor. But terminology-wise, words are going to have the same meaning everywhere. Things only get different again when you finally get to the roof. Roof framing is a complex topic because things stop moving in 2 dimensions and they start converging in 3 dimensions. In traditional framing, roofs are made up of rafters. Rafters are a lot like floor joists, except they're set diagonally at a fixed pitch. At the bottom, rafters sometimes sit on the top plate of the wall below. Other times, they sit on yet another floor structure in the attic. Rafters typically travel upward and converge at a ridge board. This is a fairly tall board that gets sandwiched between rafter peaks. In houses with gables, the ridge board runs all the way out to the exterior wall and sometimes beyond. In houses with contoured roofs, the framing gets more complicated. To create an outside corner, a hip rafter descends from the ridge to the corner of a wall. To create an inside corner, a valley rafter does the same thing. So these roof contours are simply called hips and valleys. Shorter rafters that meet a hip or valley are called jack rafters, but rafters that go all the way to the ridge are called common rafters. On gable roofs with an overhang or an eaves, the suspended rafter hanging out in the open air is called the barge rafter. Down at the lower point, the projecting end of the rafter is called a rafter tail. These are usually tied together with a subfascia. And in houses that will have an enclosed soffit, the little backstrap piece of framing is sometimes called the lookout. Now that's a traditional roof. But many newer homes and smaller commercial buildings aren't necessarily built this way anymore. Instead, they're built with something called roof trusses. A roof truss is an engineered, pre-assembled unit that creates the shape and structure of a roof. In truss roofs, multiple trusses are installed side by side, like rafters, and braced together until the roof sheathing can go on. Trusses are really kind of miraculous. They're made of much skinnier, shorter pieces of lumber, pinned together with spiky metal plates. Altogether, they create sort of a web, and that web is very strong. In fact, it's so strong that most truss roofs don't even need load-bearing walls beneath them. They act like a big girder spanning from one outer wall to another. Trusses are also sometimes used for floor systems. They're very strong, they speed up construction, and they cut down on the amount of large dimensional lumber that we used to need to build houses. So you've got traditional roofs with rafters, or you've got trusses. Kind of 2 different worlds. But after all this framing is in place, our structure is essentially created. And yet, it's still not stable. Both the walls and the roof will still need to get sheeted or sheathed. Sheathing is a layer of plywood or strand board that covers the entire framing system from the outside like a skin. It's the layer beneath the house wrap and the siding. Sheathing is very important, and it often does more than just close the house in. It also prevents the house from falling over. But that's a topic for another time because it's complicated and it deserves at least one video of its own. This video is about framing, and you've just heard about many, if not all, of the important framing members in a house. So, what did you think? Did you learn something?
So, as y'all can see, there was a lot going on with framing, right? That's a lot of information. But you can retain it. You got this. And I believe in you. So, let me see if I can go over the list so far what I've taught you guys and how y'all can save money and the formulas that you can follow so that way you won't get confused on what's the next phase. You won't get mixed up on who I'm supposed to call next, what contractor. You can contract your contractors in order and then everything will have a smooth flow. So let me recap what we went through so far in the previous videos. So first we found our property, right? We did our comps, to find out how much value we could put into the home and we can get a return back, right? So then we did our draw. No, we did our demo, right? And then we did our drawings. Okay, we got our permits because we want to get all of that out the way, and then we got our masonry because we want to get the masonry contractor before we get the framers. Again, in the video, it stated, what comes first. Masonry comes first, and then framing comes second. Okay. After that, now we're talking about the inspection because each stage requires an inspection. Your framing requires an inspection. Your demo requires an inspection, right? Let me see, your plumbing, your electrical, your HVAC. These things are going to require inspections. So let me see where we left off at, right? If you get confused with anything, you can always reach out to me. You can comment on my page, or you can call the permit, your city or county permit office, where you can get a consultation, right? In the portal, they have a link where you can actually schedule for a consultation with an inspector. They'll come out, they'll look at your job, and they can give you advice on what you need to do, what's right, what's wrong, and that'll help you out a lot. But let's see where I was trying to help you guys with saving money as far as your demo go. Because again, you don't have to tear out everything. You could leave some things, and some things is beneficial to you. And that plaster, that's heavy, right? And when you dump a dumpster, they go off of weight. So you don't want to have a bunch of weight because again, that's going to cost you a lot of money. You don't want to get a bunch of dumpsters just because you're getting rid of plaster, right? You don't want to do that. You can actually bump the wall, bump the framing out, and just add on to it. So that's just a gem for you guys. But let's see what we got. Okay. So the gems I gave y'all was the permits, the drawings, as they call blueprint drawings, same thing, right? I gave y'all the errors on your drawings, whereas though if you mess up, how many times you want to have your drafter draw your drawings again, your blueprint again. You don't want them to have to do that a lot of times because it's going to cost you money, right? Then in reference to the demo guy, you let him know specifically what you want him to tear out, because you don't want him to tear out everything, right? Because it's going to cost you more money. Okay, so now after the demo guy, it's the framing. So I'm giving you the information now on how to frame your project, because again, once you have your inspection, and your inspection can either pass or it can fail. Alright, so the next phase we're going to go into is going to be electrical. Because remember, I was telling you guys that the electrical goes behind the wall, goes through your studs, and also your plumbing goes behind the wall through your studs, right? So this is just your girl giving you guys the gems, and I'm hoping you really, really, really appreciate this video and click the like button, share this with a friend, subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to give you guys all the information that you need, right? I think I'm doing great. Let me know in the comments. Tell me something. Give me some advice on what you think I should do to make this video, this content better. But and I want to give a shout out to the Honest Carpenter guy. He did an excellent job at the breakdown of how framing is supposed to be. Don't y'all agree? And if y'all like his channel, I'll put the link in the description below, so that way you guys can click on his channel and y'all can watch and see how he do his general contracting. But at the end of the day, this is just your girl Sharice from Be More, giving y'all another YouTube video. I hope y'all like it. I'm out.